Hi there, this is going to be a lesson on the whole step and half step pattern of a major scale. Let's start off similar to our last video where we drew a piano by drawing a piano. I draw like a large U going across the top of my page, and then I cut it in half, and then I cut those in half, and then I cut those in half so I have 8 little boxes, and then I put a T on some of them, like that. And then we're going to bring those T's up. And then write in the letters. Hopefully you remember this from the last lesson like this. Those are all of our natural notes, the white keys of a piano. And then here are the black keys, but we're not going to color them in because we need to fill them in with their sharp notes and their flat notes that are enharmonic. C sharp and D flat are the same note. C sharp's enharmonic is D flat. D flat's enharmonic is C sharp. So now we have D sharp, E flat. Oops. And then over here we have F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, C sharp, D flat. Let's start off with the key of C major. When we're in the key of C, we have no sharps and no flats. And when you start on a C note and you play to the next C, it always sounds like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. It sounds like the scale that we're used to hearing, like do, a deer, a female deer. It doesn't sound sad, it doesn't sound different. It sounds like the regular major scale. And then the notes of the C scale are C, D, E, F, whoops, G, A, B, and then C. The distance between C and D is a whole step. Then we have a whole step between D and E. We learned about whole steps and half steps in the last video. This is a whole step because there's a note in between. This is a whole step because there's a note in between. We have a half step between E and F because there is no note in between. Then we have a whole step between F and G, whole step between G and A, whole step between A and B, and a half step between B and C. What I would like you to write down is W for whole step, W for whole step, H between the E and the F, W between F and G, W between G and A, W between A and B, and H between B and C. Go ahead and copy the whole, half, whole, half. 2 wholes and then a half, and then a whole step, and then another 2 wholes and a half. Catch up in writing and then, excuse me, sorry. Pause the video and then come back when you have caught up on all of these things. Okay, by now we should have this written down like this. And then now we're going to try to write down a different scale. Every single scale, every single major scale will have this same set of whole, half, whole, half. Whole, half, whole, half. So let's go ahead and just write in the whole, half, whole, 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 half, just like that. Let's use the key of D major. D. We're going to start on D and then go up by each of these distances, those intervals, and it will create a D major scale for us. So we'll start on D and then we'll go up by a whole step, which is E. I need to erase that, which is E. And then from E, we need to go up a whole step. So that's not just E to F. That's actually E to F sharp or G flat. In this case, we will use F sharp because it looks nicer for our music to go from an E to an F than it is to see an E to a G, whether it's G flat or F sharp. And then a half step above, oh, I gotta back up. A half step above F sharp is G. There is no key in between. Now a whole step above G is A. A whole step above A is B. A whole step above B, we have to skip over C to get up to C sharp or D flat, but we're going to write C sharp. And then we need to get a half step above C sharp. And then here we're going to don't know what's going on, but we have another C sharp down here, and a half step above C sharp is D, right there. So now it's your turn. Let's draw another set of these lines to put answers on. And then let's copy whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole, half. And then right here, I would like for you to draw an A. And then I would like you to pause the video right now and try your best to fill in all of the notes in our A major scale. Start from the A, go up by a whole step, and then whole step, and then half step, whole, 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 half. And you should land back up on an A right there. So if you want to fill that in right there, you can. Please pause the video right now and then come back when you are done. Okay, by now you should have attempted to fill in all of these letters with the correct sharps and flats. Now let's do this together, and if you got any of these wrong, just go back and fix it. That's okay. So from A, we need to go up by a whole step. From A, we need to go up by a whole step. So we skip over that one to get to B. From B, we need to go up a whole step. So we skip over C to get C sharp. Not, we could call it D flat, but let's call it C sharp because it will look nicer to keep it all with the sharps or all with the flats, and in this case we should do all sharps. It's different with different keys. It'll make more sense as we get further. And then from C sharp we need to go up by a half step, so we can check right here. Exactly one key higher than C sharp is D, so we have D. Now we need to go up by a whole step above D to E. And then a whole step above E is kind of tricky because there's no key in between E and F. So we skip all the way up to F sharp. And then a whole step above F sharp. This is really tricky. So we have to skip over a note. So we go past G all the way to G sharp or A flat, but it would look kind of silly to have an A flat and an A happening at the same time. So let's make this one G sharp, right there. So here are the answers right here. If you got any of these wrong, go ahead and just fix those right now. I'm about to erase these answers, so if you still want to copy these down, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, I'm going to undo all of this work so that I have enough room to show the next one. Keep yours written down there, don't erase it. But now let's write down a different note. Let's go, how about B flat right there? Let's write a B flat. And then from the B flat, I challenge you to go from B flat to B flat using whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Please pause the video, make sure you use all flats, and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, by now you should be done filling out all of your notes in this area in the distance of half steps and whole steps. So a whole step above B flat. First, let's find B flat. Oh, wrong button. I gotta go back. Okay, first let's find B flat all the way up here. So here's B flat. A half step would be B, but we need a whole step, B flat, going to C. That's a whole step, that's a half step. So we need that, B flat to C. So that is C. Now we need a whole step above C. Oh, not enough room over there. Let's go over here. C to D is a whole step because there's a note in between. C to D is a whole step. Now we need a half step above D. So we could go D to D sharp, but that might look silly to have two Ds. Let's have D to E flat right there for a half step. One key away is E flat. Now I need to find a whole step above E flat. A half step would be E, so we need to go one step further. E flat to F. We have F. Now we need to find a whole step above F. This would be a half step, so we need this whole step from F to G. Now I need a whole step above G. And a half step would be G sharp or A flat, so we have to go one further all the way to A for skipping one to get a whole step from G to A. And then this should be correct if we have done everything else correct. So let's double check if it is a half step between A and B flat. This is the note A, and a half step higher is A sharp or B flat. So yes, we are correct if we had all of that. So if you need to fix it, please pause the video and just copy what I have right here. Then come back to me when you're done. But if you are done, we're going to call that it for the day for this lesson for the major scales using our pattern of whole steps and half steps. That pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. If you start from literally any note and go up by this pattern, you will create do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the regular major scale. If you have any questions, please let me know. Besides that, have an awesome day. Bye-bye. Good luck.